Actor's Choice, where the actors have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting through actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. She's an extremely talented lady. She acts, produces, directs, sings, and dances, and a whole lot more. Please join us with a very special guest today, Fay Hauser-Price. Fay, thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, thank you for asking me.
Our pleasure, indeed. So as we are. First of all, please tell us where you're from.
Well, I grew up in North Carolina.
All right.
Yes, but I was born in West Virginia.
Okay.
And then we moved to South Carolina.
Okay.
Where my father was run out of South Carolina. And so we moved north to North Carolina.
Okay. I won't ask that question. Move right along. Family and support. What was it like in those early influences in your life?
Well, my parents were very supportive of me. As a matter of fact, my mother actually got me started. Because I believe she would have been a dancer had the circumstances in the South and in the nation been different. But she didn't have that opportunity. But she loved to dance, and she started me in dancing school when I was 4 years old. So I was on television at 4 in South Carolina, actually, at the time. So that was the discipline that I had from that early age. I was always in a dance class somewhere. So my parents were very supportive. Okay. My dad wasn't in the arts at all, but he loved me.
Yes.
Yes. And they just supported everything. Not just me, but other people in the community. And that's what I like to do, too. I got that from them, and I'm grateful that that's what they left me with. So, yeah.
Given all that, did you ever think you'd ever end up in acting?
That's funny. You know, in the South, in those days, there was no road to success, to livelihood, to making a living as an actor. So that was not in my thoughts in terms of, what am I going to do? I was, my parents were both educators. My mom was first grade teacher. My dad was a college professor. And so I was sort of going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something in the profession, or a teacher. But because of that training in the dance and doing other things and seeing my dad, he was a principal of a school, and he got up and sang when I was in the first grade, and I was like, whoa! So having all of those influences, I was doing that all along. The only thing that was viewable, it was on television or in those days, was the Little Rascals, our gang.
Yes.
And that's what I did. We made our little soap boxes. We put on plays in the basement. We had a store and sold things. So I didn't think of it as a profession, but it's what I did. It's what came out of me. So when I went to college, I got a degree in psychology at the University of North Carolina, and I got it early. And so I said, well, let me see what else I can do. And so I got a degree in drama, and decided that if I were going to do the psychology when I got out of school, I needed to go to school longer. So let me give the acting thing a try. And I did, and I'm still here.
Still here. Training and education, as I call it, is so necessary for what we're doing these days.
Yeah.
When you go looking for a job, the first thing they're going to say, what school did you go to? And if you didn't say to go to the right school, talent or not, they kind of look the other way.
Sometimes.
So what was it like for you going to school and training to be an actor?
Like I said, I did it sort of as a second thought because it was... because I was going to be a psychologist, actually. So there were two guys at the University of North Carolina, two Jewish fellows who wanted to start a theater company, and they were a year ahead of me in school. And when I got out of school, they wanted to start this company, and they asked me to join the company. So I was and another young man were the chocolate drops in the cookie mix there in North Carolina. So that's kind of how we got started.
So what was your first break? When did that come along?
I think that was my first break.
Okay.
I say that because at the time they were very ambitious and wanted to have an equity acting company, which they formed in North Carolina, which is still to this day a non-union state. And so when we did our first 2 years in this company, which was very successful, but because we couldn't get the proper funding, we didn't continue. So when I finished, I went to New York, and I had my equity card when I went to New York. And this was a time when you couldn't get an audition unless you had an equity card. There were no open auditions. So I think that was my break, because from that I could do things in acting, but I could also go and get into Screen Actors Guild and to AFTRA because I had, a union card.
Yes, it does help. And it's good to see that the union, things have changed for a lot of people to try to get into, particularly minorities, who need to be in these organizations.
Yes.
Indeed.
I always encourage people. I know that there's a lot of talk about, the unions not being good. Every organization has its pluses and minuses.
Yes.
But when you get as old as I am and you look back and you say, I got a pension somewhere, I've got some money collected somewhere, I've got health care, all of those things were on the table as a union member. And bargaining when you're in a job that, people take advantage of you because, we love to work, and sometimes you love to work and they love to work you, and you need some outside force, some levity in that situation. So I'm a union person.
Yes, same here.
I mean,
Yes, go union.
I think it needs to be reformed, but I'm a union.
1978, you had a chance to do a TV show called What's Happening?
Yes.
What was that like? One of the first times you stepped on stage?
Well, that was the first job that I had when I came to California. I had been on the road before then doing Pearlie, the musical. When I went to New York, that was a job that I had. And so when I came out here, I auditioned and I got that What's Happening, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
I normally ask this question about auditions. I'll kind of ask you what your feelings are about auditions. Is the necessity to do it? Is it really necessary to do it?
Oh, I think yes. I think people have to see what you do.
Yes.
I know people say that, I've done all this body of work and whatever, but circumstances change. You get older, you change your look, you have other things that change, and so you want to show what you have now, and people want to see what you have now.
Yes.
To make sure that you are a fit for the character that they're looking
roll
for.
that camera.
So
Yes.
I don't have any problem with auditioning, and I like to not audition for someone, but for myself, to improve, what I'm doing. It's my little job.
I understand. Your little job. Your little job has been, as I read your resume, my dear, you have what we call a somewhat envious resume. Some of the things you have done. 1978, Good Times. 1978, The Love Boat. 1979, Taxi. 1979, Roots, The Next Generation. 1981, Benson. 81, Lou Grant. 82, The New Odd Couple. 82 to 83, Dallas. 84, T.J. Hooker. These are just some of the shows that you got off into. Hill Street Blues in 1986. JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling in 1986. Magnum P.I. 1986 to 1997. 39 episodes of The Young and the Restless.
Yes.
Wow, 39. That's a lot of soap. Huh?
That was a lot of soap. And the thing about it was, soap opera actors had a very bad reputation in those days.
Yes.
They were like the bottom rung of the ladder of actors. But they have the hardest, in my opinion, job. They have to do an hour show in one day, where a television show does an hour show in 1 week.
1 week.
A movie does an hour movie or hour and a half movie in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So the discipline that it takes to put a show out in one day, and they're doing it one day every day of the week. That's not an easy job. And so I give my props.
What was your role in that?
I was Selena Wiley. I was a detective.
Ah,
Yes.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 2002, The Hot Chick. 2006, Aquila and the Bee. As I went through IMDb, I see you have almost 50 acting credits. That's beautiful.
Not enough.
Not enough, you said. Well, as you look back, can you summarize what it's been like for you to be in this business?
Well, it's been a journey. It's been a lovely journey. I'm an artist, and I love to do things in all kinds of mediums. I'm best when I'm new and green and I don't know anything, and I just jump in and do it. But I love working on my craft and getting better at it as I go. So acting, I haven't had as much success. I mean, you can say success in terms of the number of roles you've had. But I think success is like moving the needle forward.
Okay.
And I would like to have moved the needle forward a little more.
Okay.
I think Roots moved the needle forward. I think I was listening to you rattle off all those things, and it was a long time ago. And there was a period when I was moving the needle because there weren't many actors, actresses, actors who were female who were getting a lot of work in those days because there weren't roles for us.
Okay.
There weren't these empire roles and How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal and Sisters and all of that. That wasn't there. We were always the wife of or the buddy of, and the story was never about us.
Yes.
We were there as eye candy or as or as a distraction, or as the inspirational word of the show, and so there's more for actors to do now in terms of character development and showing all kinds of sides in your performance because there is more written for us, and I'm just kind of grateful that I was at a place where I could almost step my foot in the water of that. But I'm still looking to do more.
I hear you. There's many, as you're talking, I'm just thinking to myself, when you go on the set, say of Scandals, to say you on that set, those people, they say, well, who is this lady? They don't realize what you've done to make it possible for them to get where they're at right now.
Well,
Indeed.
Someone did it for me.
Yes.
As well.
Okay.
Because I didn't come full grown out of the head of Zeus. So.
Amen. Let's take a look at one of some of your artistic playgrounds, as you call it.
Okay.
What was your name?
Barbie. Carrie Barbie. That high and mighty school teacher let that white man mess around with her.
Stop it.
They're right. You are the white man, and any colored gal is yours to take. I'm Detective Selena Wiley, Genoa City Police. Feet apart. Cuff him. Just do this for me, okay? Anything you can remember. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Ejection fraction is 10%.
What is that? A little more look before you close the door. Look inside. Yeah.
Even back then, he looked crisp, like a dry leaf, slightly green with hints of brown, like he had just enough water, just enough nourishment to sustain sanity.
Do you hear me, woman?
But if you added a too hot light, a too intense situation, you would expose his vulnerability. ignite a spark. Then fire.
We have some great tips on using cultural design accents, painted finishes, and classic lighting that are easy, affordable, and do-it-yourself. Get ready for the lowdown on Afro-Euro design on today's edition of Living with Soul.
People say I'm the life of the party, telling your party.
24 hours, 7 days a week.
Women, what would life be without them? Well, there would be no life without them.
This is Story of a People.
Music is a passion for me. It's part of me. I can't separate it from me. It's like my arm or my leg.
If you've dreamt about traveling to an enchantingly beautiful foreign land, if you've wondered what it would be like to live and work abroad, to speak in a language not your own.
At first, I had no idea I was going to learn the language. One day, I started speaking French.
Doing your work while the Seine flows past, or the Eiffel Tower looms overhead.
This has been a really big step. I actually had people tell me, you're going to go to Paris, France as a young black woman searching for your dream.
And then start a completely new life.
When I was asked to work at the Paradis Latin, I thought, well, okay, why not try something new?
All right, that was marvelous. Now, these are some of the things some of the projects that you yourself produced, directed, and starred in.
And
That's
written, yes.
Quite a compilation there.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see where talent is key in this business.
Well, yes, but temperament and attitude.
I like that, attitude.
Exactly, because you can have a lot of talent.
Yes.
But if you don't have the right attitude, then you won't be able to display that talent because you may be angry or you may be too, boisterous or whatever. So,
we call it
temperament. Don't let them get you down.
Don't let them get you down. I'm glad some young people watch us. I hope they're taking this in. A signature role. Some guys actors have done a signature role. So far, what is your signature role? So when you see that movie, you think of you.
Ooh, I would say Roots for me, but I would think my audience would say Good Times.
Why Good Times?
Because it runs all the time.
This is true. Okay.
And they love it.
I love it.
So.
Okay. Well, what are some of the roles that you look for? Comedy, drama?
I like all of it. I look for something that has meat to it, that is, that, like I said, that moves the needle. I did Candyman, Return to the Flesh. I don't usually do horror or anything like that. I did it because the basis of the story was about a woman who was white, but she found out that she had black ancestry in the New Orleans South. So I did it because I liked that aspect of the project.
I see. How do you prepare for a character like that?
I read the script. I read the history around it, and then I go for it.
Okay. Because, Faye, one thing that I find I can't do it. to be able to cry on cue? How does an actress do that, or actor?
Well, I'm not the best crier on cue. I'm more of a fierce woman.
Okay.
But, you know, there is a technique to it, and you just practice it, and you think of your, you know, things that happened in your past, and you insert them there. So, yeah.
To bring that emotion out.
Yeah.
Wow, just think of a bad situation you ran into. Bad person, something bad. Okay. All right. I've always wondered.
Touching, you know.
So if you're thinking about somebody bad to cry, you must be thinking of somebody good to laugh.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
Or crazy.
Okay, I'll go for that. Where do you get some ideas for your projects or your films? Where do you get it out?
Well, the film that we saw a little bit of the clip in, where there's smoke, was an experience, around an experience that I had with a South African man during the 70s when he was in turmoil about his country and Mandela, and we were in this country trying to move the needle forward in civil rights and all of that. And so it's about that kinship and the challenges, the different ways to go about sparking a revolution. So I get inspiration from life, from my experiences, from the people around me. I'm working on a documentary right now about my family because we had our 100th family reunion recently, and it's a mixed and multi-family, and I'm working on the documentary of that. So I get a lot inspiration from a lot of things, you know.
Do you remember the first time you saw yourself up on the big screen, or even the little screen?
Yeah, I kind of do. I cringed because, you know what, for me, I have an intention of something that I want to do, and sometimes when I look at it, at the performance fresh, right after I've done it, I don't know that I meet my expectation of what it should be. However, when I look at it like years later or something like that, then it's better.
Yes.
So
I notice that artisans are very critical of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. What was it like standing on the because you stood on the shoulders of giants who preceded you? I'm sure you keep that in mind from time to time.
Oh gosh, yes. Not just giants in the acting industry, but giants in all industries. I mean, my parents, my family, you know, people around me, people helped me to get to where I am. I had a teacher that just actually got an auditorium named for her in North Carolina because she was an English teacher who had the soul of someone who would have been an actor had the circumstances been different. And so all of those dreams come into you, are your access, are your foundation. You know, live out someone else's dream and you make them happy. So someone behind me will be living out my dream and make me happy.
So we're talking about the generation of new actors now?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about some of them?
I think they're fabulous. I think they're fabulous. And, you know, the more as a group, not just black people, but white people, whatever, all of the ethnicities, the more that we understand each other's histories, the better we will all be.
Yes.
And know that we did not come full-blown to where we are.
Yes.
And that we owe to the generations behind us.
Amen. Amen. Actors now are being asked to do things now that they didn't have to do years ago. The nude scenes, the kissing a person of the same sex, etc., etc., etc. Your feelings and thoughts about that?
Well, the kissing the people of the same sex, no, we didn't have to do so much of then. But nude and semi-nude and all of that was still, you know, part of the equation to quote-unquote stardom, even for people of non-color.
Yes.
So...
I like the way you say this. I'm thinking all kind of people.
So, you know, you just have to do what is integral to you.
Yes.
I know that, like in European countries, nudity is not the same as it is here, because it's sometimes not looked on as it's looked on as a life circumstance situation and not as an exploitative situation, which I think is what happened here in America. It was for exploitation that nudity and all of that was there. It's for titillation, not for a life situation. And so you have to look at the project and weigh the project and see what your morals can stand.
Exactly.
So.
Because folks used to call it art at one time.
Yes. I mean, there were nude statues in ancient Greece. I mean, so nudity is not the issue. It's the way it's used.
Yes.
It's the way it's used.
Okay. How do you like getting up on a stage?
I love it. It's scary.
Tell me more.
Because I want to be wonderful. I want to do the best. I want to have it all down. I want to, hit those moments. I want to go deep inside the well of my being and let it shine. So it's scary to do it, to stand there and let yourself have that access.
Gotcha.
So.
But those first moments.
Those first moments are scary. Then you get in.
And once you say the first word out your mouth,
you got to go.
You
That's somewhere else.
That's somewhere else. You're into it, indeed. Because when you get up on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Fay Hauser-Price, that's a moment. There you are.
There you are.
Then you got to then you got to perform.
You got to be full. You got to be full who you're supposed to be there, not who you were 2 seconds ago.
Exactly. But then when it's all over and everyone stands up and claps, that's when it feels good.
Yes, it does.
Yes. It feels very, very good because standing in front of some people have stage fright. I know a lot of great actors have had stage fright.
Yes, exactly.
But they got over it by just getting up on the stage, working it out in their mind, and just working with it.
And it's not always the applause. And we go back to that audition thing.
Okay.
Because you don't get applause in an audition.
No, you don't.
But when you come out of it and you have filled the vessel.
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the character,
yes, ma'am.
Then you can come out with your head up and be complete. You don't have to have the applause.
Gotcha.
Because you may not always get the applause.
No.
Sometimes you're ahead of your audience. Sometimes you're in a space that's not their space, but you still have to stand in your truth.
Yes.
So it's not always the applause.
It's not always the applause. Even though there are times, I've gone to a lot of movies and whatnot, and you'll see, or shows, and you'll see what we call polite applause, where someone goes like this. It's just polite applause. But when they really get, because I've seen you on the stage, you got this lady. I mean, people stood up and yelled and screamed. Yes, now that's the work that you did.
No, thank
you. You get paid for that one. And compliments, definitely. We're now seeing, Fay, as you know, an increase, because we've had them over the years, British actors here in this country. What's your feeling about that?
If it were reciprocal, we could go to England and get work, or go to Canada and get work, or go to South Africa and get work, and go to Australia and get work. That'd be great. But a lot of times we're not able to get work other places, and so it just sometimes those jobs go to others, and you would like to have them for yourself.
Yes.
But hey, you got to work through that.
Yeah, you got to work through it. I know a lot of voiceover people. In the past, there were a lot of jobs for voiceover people, and then they just dried up.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, then that's when you have to start carving your own playground.
Ah, that's the secret. Carve your own playground, indeed. I saw a recent LA Times article where the headline said, British movie industry, a lighter shade of white. The subtitle was, Black actors in the UK say it's worse than Hollywood in their country. Interesting.
Yeah. Yes. I haven't been there recently. My sister lives there, actually. My sister was the High Sheriff of Bristol. She was appointed by Queen Elizabeth to work on racial relationships and incorporation of other races in the economic system of Britain. So they have a way to go. They have a way to go. Their minority is a smaller minority than our minority. So
we make up 13%. They don't make up 13%.
No.
Because on Idris Elba at the recent BAFTA, he was the only black nominee for a BAFTA award. And he didn't win, but at least they put him up there.
Exactly.
And I love the way SAG did it. They really did it.
Yeah.
Diversity. That subject is right now it's happening. It's been happening for years. What's your feelings about diversity?
Well, it is the way of the. It is what it is. It is the way of the world. It's always been diverse. It was diverse in Egypt. Mm-hmm. It was black, and then other people came in, and they were incorporated into the society. It was diverse. People don't think of it as not quite as diverse, but it was diverse in Asia. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were different colors of Asians. There were different colors of Africans, different cultures, different strains. It's always been diverse. Mm-hmm. So it's best when people understand people that are different from them.
Yes. And
not be afraid of being different.
Yes.
So diversity is like the number one thing on my list, I would think. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I am not just talking about diversity for white people accepting diversity. I'm talking about black people accepting diversity as well.
Yes.
So.
Okay. All right. Because I got to know one thing, Faye. Where do you get all that energy from?
I don't know.
When I see
I
you
have
perform,
no idea.
energy. It just exudes, and especially let's get a chance to show a short clip called Faye's Santa Claus hip hop performance, and you'll see the energy.
Okay.
Faye, oh my baby! My baby is gonna do something. You ready?
I am.
That's my wife, Fay Hauser.
Well, I just wanted to say that the holiday season is the most favorite time of the year for me. I love it. I've loved it since I was a little girl. And I love this story that my mother told me or read to me every year. I really anticipated hearing it. And you know, it didn't really occur to me, or it didn't seem funny that a great big fat white man was going to come down my chimney in the middle of the ghetto in the segregated South. But hey, America is beautiful, and a good story well told is okay. Santa Claus went straight to the ghetto. Santa Claus went straight to the ghetto. It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds with those visions of sugar plums dancing in their heads. With me in my kerchief and him in his cap, we had settled our brains for the long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter that I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash. I tore open the shutters, threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer with a little old driver, so lively, so quick. I knew in a moment that it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, the coursers, they came, and he whistled, and he shouted, and he called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donna, on Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Dash away, dash away, dash away all. Santa Claus went straight to the ghetto. Santa Claus went straight to the ghetto. Like dry leaves before a wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, they rise to the sky. So up to the rooftop, the coursers, they flew with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney he came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. He had a bunch of toys flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his sack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples so merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and flat, a bright, jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. He spoke not a word, went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger beside his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. Santa Claus, he went straight to the ghetto. Santa Claus, he went straight to the ghetto. He mounted his team. He gave a whistle, away they all flew like the dawn of a thistle, and I heard him exclaim when he rode out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Happy Christmas to all a good night. Happy Christmas to all, and to all good night.
All right, fantastic. By the way, please tell us who those three ladies were in there singing, because they usually travel with you guys.
Yes, they are with us quite a lot. There was Jackie Simley, Alice Sanderson, and Dion Gibson.
All right, thank you for a plug, because they do a great job.
Yeah.
There was a fella that came out there a little while, tall, good-looking, handsome fella. Louis Price, I believe his name is.
I've heard of him.
Heard that name?
Yes, I
Former
have.
lead singer of the Temptations.
Really?
Really?
Oh.
Recently, I saw you guys do a show on Olympic Boulevard at the theater down there.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was wonderful. It was everybody who was sitting there. I must say, my hands were almost sore from the clapping that we did. And we saw a show that had Louis,
Yes.
you,
Yes.
his mother.
Yes.
You brought something for
Yes.
us?
Yes. This is a CD that we made. Louis and I produced for his mother on her 80th birthday.
Wow.
And this lady is bad. Let me just say that. We took her in the studio,
Yes.
and she did, how many songs are on here? 11 songs.
Wow.
She did 11 songs.
Wow.
Straight through.
First take?
Yeah.
Ouch. How old is she now?
She's 86.
Wow. You brought another DVD with you.
I did. Actually, this is the DVD of that concert.
Ah, okay.
Not the one you saw, but the one that I did the Santa Claus
The Santa Claus,
in.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, and we have these at our website.
Yes.
Yes.
Very talented young man.
Shop.
Yes.
Houselights.com.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Can you say that again for those that missed it?
shop.houselights.com. Shophouselights.com.
That's a great.
Both of these are actually on that.
Excellent. Excellent. How often do you and Louis get together to perform in the show?
We've been doing a little bit more. We do this annual concert, and I
Okay.
try to insert myself in that in some kind of way. But we also do some educational outreach.
Okay.
We do an American heritage piece about African American heritage in word and song. And since Louis was a former lead singer of the Temptations, and he was a lead singer of the Drifters, and his uncle was Rebert Harris, who was a soul stirrer, who started this whole falsetto movement and taught Sam Cooke. He talks about his legacy and the music and what was happening. We talk about what was happening in the United States around those times as an educational entertainment for colleges and schools.
Outstanding young man. Thank you. It's good to see that show. But we went to the show, and his aunt also sang.
Yes.
And she sang a religious song. One of the ladies sang a religious song.
Oh, yeah. Well, both of them did.
And had the crowd, it was predominantly white.
Yeah.
Most of them, they got up. They got up. They hadn't seen or heard gospel or good music. And
Sometimes even the Jewish people get up,
yes,
too.
they do. They do. They got up. Excellent, excellent show. Excellent. Okay. When you see it again, that you will come and go see the show.
Yes.
Excellent show. Excellent. There's another event coming up right now. So it's starting on Thursday, March 24th. It's the 23rd annual Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. You used to be associated with the organization.
I've been associated with it, I guess, since 1999 in some sense or another. I came in as a videographer from my experience as producing, and I produced a cable television show for them. I archived their artists. I was on the board for a while. I worked on their educational arm and did education in the schools. And it's an organization that mounts solo performance pieces by women, mostly. Sometimes we have men, but mostly women. And it's an excellent opportunity to see a smorgasbord of performers. And then you can choose who you might want to follow and what,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
indeed.
if you can, people should come out.
Yes, indeed.
Come out and see it.
Adele LeBron sat right where you were a couple of weeks ago talking about the show. As you know, she's the co-founder. And and we said it then. I'll ask you again. When people come to that festival, what are they going to see?
Oh, they're going to see a lot of interesting work, a lot of cutting-edge work. If you go to the website, you can get a taste of. Actually, I did the promo of the artist for the website, and it's lawtf.org.
Okay. 23rd Annual Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. I got my ticket already, so I will see you down there. No problem at all.
All right.
You also made a transition in your life from acting. You've done so many things, producing, directing, different projects. What was that like making that transition for you?
Well, I'm going to say it was there all along. Remember when I mentioned about the back in the South when I was watching Little Rascals? They were producing. We produced. We produced shows in the basement of my friend's house. We decorated it up. We had the curtains. We wrote the plays. We made up tickets. We sold them. I had sent my little sister into the neighborhood to sell tickets door to door. We gave away door prizes. We produced.
Yes.
So as I got older and understood that that's what it was that we were doing, I always thought, even as I was pursuing acting, that one day I would produce again in a larger venue. And I was fortunate enough to work with a gentleman named Bob Dockery, who had SI Communications. They were producing radio programming, and he wanted to produce television programming. And I said, if you do it, let me know. I'd love to come and watch. And he said, come on down and help me work it. So we started producing television shows, and that's where you saw Story of a People, Paris in Search of a Dream, 24/7. Those things we produced. So we were actually on the cutting edge of showing contemporary African Americans here in the United States during the 80s and 90s and what we were doing.
Gotcha.
Educational-wise, entertainment-wise, arts, all of that.
You used an expression earlier, and I'm going to put that in my resume, moving the needle. I like the way you say that as you advance to in your life. But one of the things that happens is that when you in this town, there's camaraderie in this town among the artists, that you can get a person from one business, hook up with another person, create something. Next thing you know, it's like cooking food.
Yes.
Get a good chef, get two chefs, get them together, get a good bunch of food. That is marvelous. You did a special project. Can you run that one for us, Lauren? Where video number 3, 151 was that?
5150.
5150.
5150. It's a short film.
I promise I'll have you on Jay Leno and The Tonight Show by the end of the week. No, I'm not kidding.
How does somebody so young, so talented,
I really think you should wait and let me work my magic.
on their way up the ladder of success?
Kate, let's want to see you in the conference room.
We're promoting you to junior partner.
I won't let you down.
We could come 5150.
This is John Billings with J&R Bank. We'll be forced to close the account if you don't call us back as soon as possible.
Everything should make sense before you died last year. No. Probably not as bad as it seems, really. I'm about to lose my house. My bank accounts are closing. How could this be happening?
Are you okay? You promise me you won't hurt yourself.
Come inside.
Is there a problem?
We're not sure.
But what do you think you are doing?
Sorry, man. We're gonna have to take you in.
For what? What the hell were they supposed to do?
Hello, Joy. I'm Dr. King. I'm not crazy.
Do you know where I am? You need to call up here and fix whatever you told them so I can get out of here tonight.
I just want to hear your side of the story.
This is all really a misunderstanding. I need to go home.
Where's the doctor?
In a minute. Go sit down.
Oh, take me back to the start.
Calm down. Calm down.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Hey. Don't touch me!
Oh, magnificent. The storyline is great. You know, as we said, that's a person's life right there, and you're able to put it up on the screen. So many people relate to the media, the power of the media.
Yes, yes. That's an interesting 5150. I don't know if you know, it's a police code for someone who is a danger to themselves or to someone else.
Okay.
So a lot of people get picked up on 5150, and they have to have a mandatory 72-hour hold in it to be evaluated in a mental institution. And so, you know, what do you do when you are swallowed by the whale?
Yes, that's the authorities coming at you.
What do
He's
you,
got the badge and the gun.
How do you get out?
Yes.
You know, how do you get out of there with your sanity?
Wow. Now, thank you for putting it up
Even
on the screen.
people people who are insane.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So it's an interesting little project.
Now, you did another project, a very unique project. It was 1,000 feet, short film.
Yes.
You were given 10, you tell, you know.
Well, we were, I think it explains it a little bit in the video. So why
Okay.
don't we run the video?
All right,
and then,
all right.
yeah, I'll talk about it after.
All right, here we go.
I was born in the Congo. I walked across the first.
Okay, we got a little technical difficulty.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
Yeah, but if you can tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's 1,000 feet of film, which
Okay.
35 millimeter film.
Okay.
And now 35 millimeter film is quite different from digital.
Yes.
It's unforgiving. You put it in the camera, it rolls forward, it takes whatever picture is on there, and that's it.
That's it.
So we had 10 minutes worth of film. If the camera started rolling at 11 o'clock,
yes,
it stopped rolling at 11:10.
Gotcha.
So we could use that 10 minutes of footage, shoot little pieces here, little pieces there, little pieces here, little pieces there, and then put it together and make a project. And so that was, how do you make a story in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
With 10 minutes worth of film. Right. With a digital camera, you can run for a day.
Yes, you can.
2 days, whatever, and get as much as you want and cut out whatever you want. But this was,
Because
you
I'm
know.
reminded of Town Street Theater when you say 10 minutes. They give
Yes.
a 10-minute stage presentation from beginning, middle, and end of a play in 10 minutes.
Right.
And you're doing a film in
Yes.
10 minutes.
Yes, and it's where there's smoke is the piece.
Okay.
And again, it is about America and South Africa. Challenges.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. You stay busy, lady.
I try to stay busy because, you know, the an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And I've almost walked down that road, so I don't want to go there again.
If a person wants to get in touch with you,
Yes.
What's the easiest way to do that? So we
Well,
can
I have a website, which
Okay.
is, I'm getting ready to change it, but right now it's going to have the same address. But it's Houselights, HAUSLIGHTS.
All right.
.com.
Okay.
And the same with my email address, Houselights, HAUSLIGHTS at gmail.com.
Okay. Do you teach school? Do you give any training?
I do. I work. I coach people. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got the high sound.
You got the high sound? You found it?
He found it.
Great.
Here we go.
Do you hear me, woman?
A 1,000 feet is definitely a challenge because it's only about 10 minutes of raw footage, and so you could burn up 10 minutes of raw footage, just getting the camera rolling and, saying action and getting a couple of words of dialogue done. And we are doing all of that and more. We are making stories, real stories, within the limitations of 1,000 feet.
Had it found me at last? I thought I had left the flames behind, avoided the heat, sheltered the heart, protected our future. It had awakened me, that subtle smell of smoke.
My name is Fay Hauser-Price, and my project is Where There's Smoke.
Guys, getting rehearsal?
A little more look before you close the door. Look inside. I want you to look. Yeah. This is a multi-layered story. It takes place on 3 levels. There's a voiceover in the present. Then there's a reflection of an event that happened. And then there is what drove that event to happen.
Okay, quiet folks. Lock it up, everybody.
It's about a relationship between a man and a woman and how you get pulled into relationships that are exciting to you, but may not be in your best interest.
Baby, what are you doing?
Even back then, he looked crisp, like a dry leaf, slightly green, with hints of brown, like he had just enough water, just enough nourishment to sustain sanity. But if you added a too hot light, a too intense situation, you would expose his vulnerability, ignite a spark, then fire.
Wow, Faye. Wow. You had a different costume on there as a director. You don't have to get all dressed up.
All right.
No. Got your hat on, got your DJs on.
Yeah.
Looking good. Technology. It's as an actor, now you're the director. You're the one that says action. What's that like for you? How does that feel?
I mean, it's good. It's a wonderful process. Again, I'm going to go back to my roots, as it were, with the Little Rascals, because that's what we did. We did it in the basement. I directed my cousins and friends and whatever we put on the shows. So it's good to have a vision. Now, I have more elements to contend with, like camera movements and lighting and costume and locations and all of that kind of thing.
And but the budget to worry about.
The budget, yes, exactly. And the acting process. Yes. So it's wonderful to be able to exercise in that way, to exercise more parts of who I am and can be more of, given the opportunity.
Okay. Here's another question I love to ask. What are the limits for Fay Hauser-Price?
I don't know that there, time is a limit. That's one thing. Okay. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that.
That's true.
But other than that, I don't know that there are. The only limits I would say are the limits that I would impose upon myself. And I go back to the talking about you can't always get what it is that you want, what you thought you were, who you were, what you thought you were going to accomplish, but you can always do something toward it, not get stopped along the way just because your dream didn't come true the way you saw it. it may not come true the way you see it, and then you don't put a limit on yourself if you go forward. Okay. If I am a poet with no voice or pen, let my poem be manifest in my daily living.
Like that. But that technology that you guys are working with now in the industry, it just awes me. The special effects, the green screen, all these different things. What's it like working with that versus the way it was back in the old days where you worked with reality?
You work with reality, but they had miniatures and stop motion, and technology continues to move forward. First, they didn't even have a camera, so you're always moving the needle forward in technology, and it is incumbent upon you to be educated about it, to work with it, not against it.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
I like that expression, moving the needle forward.
Yeah.
I learned something today. Thank you. Thank you. Last question. How do you want to be remembered?
Somebody that tried. I was in the game. I did my best. I ran my race. Sometimes I got out of my lane.
Nothing wrong with that, but you got back in it. You got back in it.
Well, yeah. But I don't know about getting back in. I don't like to get back in my lane, but because sometimes people draw lines for you that they want you to stay in.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say I ran my race.
Amen. You ran your own race. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Any final thoughts? You got any books coming out? Other projects that you want to talk about?
We talked about the DVD and the CD, and the projects that we're doing in the schools. We're doing that, so if anybody's interested in that.
I didn't get that.
No, Lewis and I are doing our African American history programs in schools and colleges. And,
and that's all around the country?
Yeah, sure. Anybody that wants it. We have different iterations of it. It can be, with the 3 singers and the 4 band members and us, and projection screens, or it can be a smaller version of that, depending on what your budget is and what your organization is. So we're doing that. I'm working on a project, like I said, with my family reunion documentary. So that's working on that. I'm working on a project called Surfmen, which is about the early Coast Guard and an African American rescue of a schooner off the coast of North Carolina by a black contingent of rescuers in the 1890s.
Wow. I'd like to see that.
So
I'm a retired Navy man, and so to see there weren't too many blacks in the Coast Guard.
Oh yeah, this was appointed by the government during the Reconstruction era.
Wow.
So yes.
I only met one black in the Coast Guard. His name was Alex Haley. A few years ago before he died.
Yeah.
Oh, something else. Well, listen, we want to thank you very much for joining us, and as a lady, thank you so very, very much.
Oh,
it's our pleasure to thank you for come to us again.
Thank
like
you.
to get you back again. And we just want to let folks know that, hey, one of the items that we talked about is it's happening on Thursday, March the 24th. It's the 23rd Annual Festival of Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. It's going to be a knockout. Get your tickets. Yes.
And one more thing. The Directors Guild, which I'm a member of, is getting ready to have a celebration of the programs Empire and American Crime for helping to move the needle forward in terms of diversity in the industry in June of this year. And so you can stay tuned for information about that.
Okay, well there's a lot of things out there. People just gotta know where to go to get it and who to talk to.
Yep.
And again, it's www.houselights.com.
Yes.
Folks can get in touch.
Or Gmail.
Or Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, please give my best to your mother-in-law. Give my best to Lewis. And thank you so much for coming down today.
Oh, thank you. Thanks
really
for
appreciate
asking
it.
me.
Oh, we want to get you back again. Got a few things we want to bring you back again. And again, we want to thank each and every one of y'all for joining us here at Actors Choice. We'd like to take this time to enjoy meeting these folks. These are good people. You meet them, you see them up on the tube, you see them everywhere. You say, those are stars. Yes, they are. But they're also human beings. And how they got from the beginning, how they got into the business, how they moved through the industry, that's what makes it so beautiful. And we love you very much for coming out. And all I can say is one thing is, and that is, we will see you next time. Take it.